Okay. Oh, hello everyone. Today we are going to discuss is Fukushima radio wastewater safe. This is our okay. So there is a big news that Japanese plans to release Fukushima wastewater into ocean. The government says the treatment and dilution will minimize the risk to the environment. So, but however, the discharge plan raised huge concern both the Japanese themselves and also ourselves in Hong Kong. We will raise our voice on concerning over the radioactive water leaked at Fukushima, and because the people fear about these radioactive residues, they may leak into ocean and affect the environmental and also huge impact, harmful to humans. So in order to cope up with their discharge plan, Hong Kong government has banned part of seafood from Japan, and the government says there will be more strict monitoring on the seafood. And while there is more strict monitoring on seafood, there still have fear around public. We can see the salt rush again. It happens in 2011 when the nuclear accidents occurred. At that time, many people fear about the nuclear radiation. They buy a lot of salt. Because they believe that iodine in salt can protect them from radioactive radiation. And that is happened again in 2023. So this is a video to look over the whole issues.
Astonishing, the whole world at the moment is a decision made by Japan.
The Japanese government has announced that it will start releasing huge amounts of radioactive water.
Fukushima nuclear plant
Into the Pacific Ocean.
So, where does the polluted water come from? A magnitude earthquake has struck the coastal area of northeastern Japan on March 11, 2011. The showing tsunami caused the Fukushima nuclear accident. To cool the nuclear reactor core, Tokyo Electric Power Company injected a large amount of water into the reactor. In addition to the original coolant in the reactor and the groundwater and rainwater infiltrating the reactor, a large amount of radioactive polluted water is produced. After 10 years, the polluted water stored in tanks of the Fukushima nuclear power plant has reached 1.25 million tons. With an increase of 140 tons every day, it is estimated that it will reach the upper limit of 1.37 million tons of storage by September 2022.
Okay, after the brief introduction of the issues, so Pai will explore this issue with you.
So let's dig deeper into the issue. What is the science concept behind the issue? So first of all, let me talk about the nuclear power plant. So at the previous year, so we learned that there is a nuclear reaction. Actually, it's involved in the nuclear power plant to as an energy source. So can you name which kind of nuclear reaction is that? Is it fission or fusion? That's very good. It's nuclear fission. So actually, in the cases that in the power plants, the nuclear fission occurs, and this actually as chain reaction. That means when the neutron collide with the uranium-235 nuclei, then it will split into two smaller nuclei with the release of energy and free more electrons. Then the neutron produced will continue to collide with other uranium-235 nuclei to let the reaction continues. So after introducing such chain reaction, can you name such an essential condition for reaction to happen of chain reaction? Yeah, very good. So we can see that actually more neutrons is produced after the reaction occurs. So the nuclear fission can continue to happen. So after covering the working principle of how the power is how energy is produced, energy is converted in the nuclear power plant. So let's study the structure of a nuclear power plant. So actually we have a reactor core, cooling system, a steam generator, and a turbine. So here we can see that there's a core is here is where the uranium-235 product. So actually energy is released here. After that, we can see there's a pressurized water moderator and coolant inside here. So after the chain reaction release energy, so the moderator and coolant will absorb the energy and follow the pipe and go to the steam generator. And the steam generator will the steam generator actually inside is filled with water that surrounds the pipe. So the water will then absorb the energy inside the pipe of the moderator and then vaporize. The steam will then follow the steam line to the turbine. Then it drives the turbine and then generate electricity. So that's how the energy conversion. So first of all, is from the energy inside the uranium-235. Then it converts into the heat energy in the moderator. Then to the energy, then transmit to the steam. Then becoming kinetic energy and drive the turbine, and lastly convert into electrical energy. So we can see that there is a condenser. So after the steam pass through the turbine and go, then it will pass through a condenser that is cooled and cooling water. So the steam then will then condense back to water, and then here's a pump, and it will be pumped back to the steam generator, and the water here will keep cycling. And the cooling system is used to remove excess heat from the power plant and prevent it from overheating. And then let's dig deeper into the core structure in nuclear plant. That what I just mentioned is where the uranium-235 is located. So here, as represented by red rods, is actually the fuel rods that may be typically uranium-235 or plutonium-239 that undergo nuclear fission. So as we can see that there are control rods in between the fuel rods. And usually the control rods are neutron catcher. So what is the function of control is that it can control the rate of nuclear fission because they are neutron catcher, so they can capture the neutron released in the nuclear fission. So like block the whole chain reaction. So because the chain reaction, once it happens, it won't stop because it can continue to trigger the next reaction by releasing a new neutron to trigger it. So we have to use a control rod to stop it, to absorb the neutron produced in the previous reaction and stop it. And then the moderator inside, that means the pressurized water, is used to slow down the neutron emitted from the previous reaction, nuclear fission, because it can ensure that the neutrons can trigger the next reaction. So it's used to sustain the chain reaction by controlling the rate. So actually, it's how the liquid cycle inside. the nuclear part. So we can see that here is the pressurized water moderator and coolant type here, and then the steam will keep cycle here and back to water and then back to the steam generator and so on. So what was happened after the earthquake and tsunami is that the power supply is actually shut down after earthquake and tsunami, and there's lack of backup power supply. So we can see that the control rods, the pump, and the condenser cooling water are also malfunction. That means they cannot function normally. So what is expected to happen? So when such function is shut down, such structure.
The nuclear reaction is keep going, so it will keep emitting some radioactive source.
Yes, very good. You mentioned that the nuclear fission will keep ongoing, and so what is released during the after the nuclear fission? So from the previous slide, so what is released?
Neutron.
And it cannot be stopped, and the reaction continues. And one of the most important products in the reaction is energy. So what form of energy is released?
Gamma radiation. Is it?
Yeah, heat energy. Yes, in form of heat energy. So what will happen to the water, pressurized water inside here if it is released?
They all become.
Yes, they vaporize and become steam. So how will it change the pressure inside? So what will the pressure change inside the core? Yes, the pressure increase and then it will explode then. So actually, with the explosion occurs actually back to the 2011 accident, the reactor, so the whole power plants with each different towers explode 3 times in total. So because of the reaction cannot be stopped. So for the Tokyo Electricity Power Company, so to cool the cool down system. So actually, as mentioned from a previous video, they inject water inside continuously to cool down the system. However, what will can the water be used back after? Why? Yeah, because the water is contaminated with radioactive substance. So actually, we can't release it back to the ocean because it's harmful to marine life, and also we can't trade it because it's also will cause some health issues if it contains radioactive substance. So it's actually how the Japanese government plan to deal with the wastewater produced.
Holiday shopping time. Here we go. I'll get Jenny this main red lipstick she wears so well.
Nuclear disaster continues 10 years on. Thousands of tons of radioactive topsoil still sit in innumerable black bags stacked in pyramids on rural roads. Thousands of workers still move in and out of the power plant, cleaning, maintaining, like every water and groundwater, every single, with a Hammond nuclear solution. And so a plan was proposed to release processed water back into the sea, like every other similarly situated nuclear power plant does as a part of daily operations. The main contaminant in this water is tritium, a hydrogen atom with 2 extra neutrons. It's a beta emitter with a half-life of around 12.3 years, created naturally when cosmic rays interact with Earth's atmosphere. It then circulates through the hydrological cycle. About 99% of all tritium, natural or man-made, is incorporated in water and follows the water cycle from the high atmosphere to the sea. The problem with it is that tritiated water is chemically identical to regular water, and so human bodies use it the same way. Beta radiation can't penetrate very far, but inhaled, absorbed, or ingested as close to your vital organs as possible, tritium can be dangerous. Thankfully, Tritium is, relatively speaking, only dangerous in large concentrations and excreted from the body just like water. And so it's concentration that Fukushima will control and monitor after using highly technical water treatment methods to remove 62 much more harmful radioisotopes. Why not also just remove the tritium? Well, the multinuclide removal, or ALPS process that Fukushima Daiichi is using to treat the contaminated water can't remove all the tritium for the same reason your body takes it up like water. It's too chemically close to H2O, too hard to separate from the normal molecule. The International Atomic Energy Agency has agreed with Japan on this point. The IAEA is, quote, not aware of any solution currently available for the separation of tritium commensurate with the concentration and the volume of treated water, end quote. In other words, if you had a process to separate out all this slightly different H2O, you would probably just still remove all of the H2O. Thousands and thousands of tons of radioactive water can't simply accumulate for the next 4 decades at Daiichi, especially considering the risk posed to the tanks by another possible earthquake and/or tsunami. And so starting just a few days ago, TEPCO will release treated water into the ocean via a 1 kilometer long undersea tunnel at an agreed upon concentration. Here, it will mix with seawater, which already contains a natural amount of tritium, diluting it to safe levels. At least, that's what TEPCO is claiming, but the science is on their side. Dilution is deceptively powerful, and there's effectively an infinite amount of seawater. So again, the key factor here will be concentration, the amount of radiation per liter in the treated water. That concentration, according to TEPCO, will be 1,500 becquerels per liter, or water that decays in some way 1,500 times per second per liter. This is far below the regulatory levels for many other countries, as well as the World Health Organization's drinking water quality guidelines. It's also far below the levels in water discharged by many functioning power plants every year. France, TEPCO likes to point out, discharges 500 times more tritium into the ocean than Fukushima ever will. But that begs the question, how safe is this 1,500 becquerels per liter limit? Well, according to the math, very. If Fukushima's diluted seawater mix was drinkable, for example, you could drink 2 liters a day of it, direct from an undersea pipe, direct from a nuclear disaster, and after a year, you still wouldn't have accumulated 1/10 of 1% of the dose that is agreed upon to cause negative health effects. In fact, you wouldn't be able to physically consume enough of this treated water to irradiate you. You would drown before you got a dangerous dose. At least, this is what the international community has been told, what I was told. All of the documents you're seeing throughout this piece, I got from TEPCO directly. At present moment, I have no real reason to doubt all of the facts and figures. I can't actually imagine an industry or a company that is under more international and domestic pressure to fix all of their mistakes and get it all right. However, even if all of these facts and figures are true, the way that they're being presented to the public, the way that they were presented to me.
So in the video, it shows that actually the case of how the Tokyo electrical power company decided to tackle with the nuclear-based water produce. So actually, it's found that the water, because as mentioned by your classmate, the water produced that used to cool down the system cannot be used directly released back to the ocean or cannot be reused because due to its radioactivity. So actually, the Japanese government had to store the wastewater throughout this since 2011, and now it's found that the storage the cost of storing such water is too high, and so the Japanese government and the Tokyo electrical power company have developed a system, ALPS, that remove most of the radioactive substance but not treat it. So as it is a flow that first, because the water is contaminated with radioactive substance, it cannot be released back to the ocean. Then, they decide to use ARBS system to remove the most of the radioactive substance, but not treat it. So to release it effectively back to the ocean, the treated water will then dilute it with seawater to a safe level, then emitted back to the water, ocean. So it's actually what the Japanese government plans to. So the water will then take the tank of water contain tritium, then it will go through the ALPS, then the treated water will undergo dilution and then through a pipe and release back to the Pacific Ocean.
So now is your time to read the article. We have prepared some article for you, which about reporting the discharge of radio water. So please first pick out different stakeholders and their views on these issues. And you may use highlighters to highlight their point of views. And also, during your reading, think about the following question when you're writing. After evaluating different point of views, do you agree with the discharge of radioactive water? And you may use their view, the evidence to justify your answer. So after with 5 minute reading, we will have a discussion. So each group will have 1 minute. First round, each group will have 1 minute to present your argument.
Your view and your argument.
And second round, you need to respond to other group's arguments. So let's start.
How many minutes do we have?
5.
5, 4.
And did you need more time? Since our article is pretty long, so maybe 2 more minutes. Okay, time is up, so I hope you have some view of point on this question. So let's start our discussion.
So who wants start to say the argument first?
So first round, use 1 minute to present your argument.
So when they join the
So maybe I start first. For me, I do not agree the option for discharging the radioactive water into the sea. I have several points for my view. Firstly, I think those wastewater have radioactivity. As these water are radioactive, they will contaminate those fishes in the sea. This causes two problems. Firstly, as we humans will consume seafood for our food. If those marine organisms are contaminated, then even for human, our health will be affected by those radioactive substances. I'm not sure. And secondly, as the radioactive water may harm the fish, if some of the organisms in the ocean die, and this will cause some certain ecological impacts, like maybe some marine animals will die, and the food chain and food web and the energy transfer, all of them will be disrupted. And this is harmful to the biodiversity.
Okay.
Okay.
Enough.
Okay.
So Where you can your first round.
I also don't agree to discharge the radioactive water because this may cause some social issues. So the program that the government has been emphasizing that this is safe and the citizens should not be affected. However, this cannot successfully convince the population, especially when they found there are some survey foundation children in this area develop thyroid abnormalities. So when the citizens in these regions do not want to buy products from China, they will be accused of not believing the government. And so this may lead to some conflicts between people who agree and who disagree, and this will be a serious problem if that these two kinds of people are coming from the same family.
Or how about your point of view? Did you agree with the discharge of?
I'm not agree with the discharge of radioactive water because, as mentioned, the project containing some radioactive source may if you ready go around, which will worry about the Chinese food and food advantages. So it will may have our help, and for the picture in Japanese, the
Okay, since all of you
So since all of you disagree with the approach that's adopted by the Japanese government and the TEPCO. So let me provide some supporting arguments to argue me back. So actually, just now, both of the video mentioned that most of the radioactive sources are removed through the ALPS system, and also the only radioactive substance that cannot be removed is tritium, and tritium will be then diluted to a very safe level. That means quoting what the video just said, you have to consume the volume that will drown you instead of harming your health through radiation. So it sounds safe. So why? And also the case now is that it's not economically sustainable as the problem of water storage is very emergent. So why? So in terms of in the view of the economy, so I think that it should be I think that such approach should be adopted. So may Jonathan fight me back?
Fight me back. I agree that the level of tritium in water may be lower than the safety level. That means the water should be safe. But for citizens, I think this is not a scientific argument. But for citizens, we feel worried because we still know that tritium is sounds of dangerous and radioactive. So if we know that, oh, the water contains tritium, and then we will think that these organisms may still be contaminated, and when we drink water, there's still tritium, although it sounds like safe, but mentally we feel we are not comfortable about the discharge of radioactive water. This is maybe a mental issue, not a kind of scientific issue, yes. We're just afraid because we know that it's dangerous.
How about Jovella?
So I agree with you. So maybe what the government is saying is right or correct, but like mentally people can't be convinced easily. So economically they may choose to leave Fukushima or not to buy products from Fukushima. So this won't help the economy of this place.
How about Isaac? So just now I think that if without the releasing of the radioactive water from the Fukushima Daiichi power plants, so it sounds like economically unsustainable. That such towers have to be continually constructed to store the radioactive water. So, and also the Japanese government and the TEPCO thinks that the radioactive water is the radioactive nuclear is most of that is removed from the alpha system, and also the tritium is diluted to a very safe level, even lower than the standard of the from the international regulatory organization. So, what do you think of?
If the level is really lower than the standard, then it may be acceptable.
Oh, so you change your stance?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So after our discussion, we have a lot of arguments on these issues, and then we conclude that. So we mentioned a little about the supporting arguments. So let me give more supporting argument on that. So first, they came that the discharge can facilitate the Fukushima recovery because of the accidents. The local economy has stopped about 10 years more. And also they say the lack of storage space to store more more water make the discharge necessary. And both of these statements are stand on the economy. And also the powerful evidence for them is the discharge complies with the international standard, because the International Atomic Energy Agency, international agency, says shows a report that the wastewater is safe, and also they can the tritium is a low risk isotopes, and you can see many trade and many power plant also discharge this kind of isotopes, and it also shows that this discharge of wastewater is have little impact on the environment. However, a lot of opposing arguments you may mention, so like Rebecca, you mentioned the risk because of this discharge plan, it still cannot recover the local economy, because the customer will not have confidence on the seafood in Fukushima, and also there's also science evidence on that, because these long-term environment impact are not are uncertain, because these things will never happen before. It is discharged about 30 years, so that long-term effects should be more researched, and also some report also shows that treated water still contains some other radio isotopes. So that is the Japanese need to more clarify on that, and other big opposing argument is that there are many other way to deal with this treated water, like a longer term storage for them, because the tritium has half-life about 12 years, so just store a longer time, it will go, the radioactive will go to a lower level. So, and also some scientists also suggest other suggestion, but right now the Japanese don't use that suggestion. So and lastly is the public, they don't have the public trust, because and it may be because the electric power company and also Japanese government they can't handle the accident well back to 2011, because like lack of supply, lack of backup power supply is what the companies done before. So public will generally will not trust them. So we will come out, even though they have a lot of science evidence, public will also have doubts on that. So this is our and this is the end of my teaching. So, stop recording。
唔係啊，要播埋入邊啊嘛。
唔使咯。
要佢話要啊。
哦 ，stop recording and the video is 即係嗰條片係其他地方。
你 stop 嗰邊。
stop。